Leaving a toxic relationship with a narcissistic partner or family member is never easy. And one of the most difficult parts about it is that it doesn't seem like you really have an option. It's not necessarily just your option that is causing you to leave the toxic situation. No, you're actually feeling as though you're being pushed out, forced out. You're being caused to leave. And this creates a lot of pain, a lot of pain. But this pain is necessary in order for you to leave. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. You know, I was thrown out of the relationship. I was betrayed. I was abandoned. I was pushed out, and it makes no sense. And I want to share with you a story out of the Bible. Exodus chapter 6. This is the Old Testament. Everybody knows the story of Moses. Moses went into Egypt, and he delivered the mixed multitude, the Hebrew people, from the oppressive rule and the tyranny of the Egyptian government, right? The Pharaoh. And what's interesting about the story is that God says in Exodus, Moses, now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. Watch this. Because of my mighty hand, he will let them go. Pharaoh will let who go? The Hebrew people, the mixed multitude. But watch this. Because of my mighty hand, he will drive them out of his country. A lot of people look at the story of Moses bringing the Hebrew people out as Moses simply showing up and saying, everybody follow me, and I will answer it'll be an answer to all of your prayers, right? And that's not at all how it played out. If you notice, God told Moses, because of my mighty hand, the Pharaoh will drive the Hebrew people out. See, the Lord understood something, was telling Moses something, that these people aren't necessarily going to want to leave just because you show up. Now, this needs to make sense to you and me because this represents you and me and a lot of people stuck in toxic relationships. We stay in there because it seems comfortable even though we're oppressed. How many of you stayed with abusive people, abusive family members, and you're like, well, at least I have a place to call home? This was those people in Egypt, by the way. Many people, even though they were oppressed, even though they were slaves, they were like, well, I've got a home, I've got a house, I'm going to eat, I live here, I work, So many people were oppressed, not even realizing they were oppressed. So these people, when Moses shows up and says, hey, follow me, we're getting out of here, they're going to say, no, I have decades of a house built here. I'm not just leaving. I'm quite okay with the oppression. This becomes you and me, psychologically. Get stuck in a toxic relationship. I'm okay with the oppression. I'm okay with the abuse. So what God did is he said, watch this. I'm going to cause Pharaoh to drive them out. Now, what does this look like? This looks like Pharaoh of Egypt making it so nasty for the people that they needed to leave. And that's exactly what happened. When Moses showed up, Pharaoh started putting more demands on all the people. Make them work harder. Enslave them. Beat them harder. Whip them harder. This is how God got the people to leave. So what am I trying to tell you here? When you look at the abuse that you endured, how it felt like it was shoving you out the front door, away from the family that you were dealing with, away from that ex-spouse. It could have been God saying, I need you to leave, but you're not going to leave unless I make it a painful experience. Otherwise, you'll just be comfortable staying in a group of people where you don't belong, staying with a person that I never intended you to stay with. So I want you to leave. I hear your cries. This is what God wants to tell you. I hear your cries in that toxic relationship. But unless I drive you out by using them aggressively pushing you out, you'll stay. Not only will you stay, but if you're given the option to leave, somewhere down the road you might say, well, I want to go back. And as we saw in Exodus, the Hebrew people did just that too. They went with Moses. They got so far and said, you know what? We want to go back to Egypt. We want to go back to where we were oppressed and enslaved because, well, we had houses and stuff, and here we're in the desert. So God knows your situation. He knows you hate being in the abusive, toxic environment. But I believe God also knows that you're not just going to voluntarily leave unless it becomes so unbearable that you have to leave. And this is why it's so painful. So take this pain as understanding that it's God teaching you something. One, don't play with fire. Learn not to hold the fire. learn to create distance. And 2, get out of the situation, get out of the toxic situation, and not only get out of it, but don't even think about going back. I'm going to make it so unbearable that you realize that you're not to go back. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below in the description box, you'll find access to my calendar where you can schedule one-on-one time with me, telephone calls, FaceTime, WhatsApp, video calls, text message consultations. It's all there for you down below. Also down below, you'll find access to Monday Night Live Chat. Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship. And follow me on Instagram at Join the Royal We, and I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.